brandy old-fashioned in one of our bars, each with a spectacular view overlooking Mirror Lake, or just relax before or after dinner on one of our outdoor decks. Our Ishnala chefs have prepared your favorites: 24-ounce ribeye, cold water lobster tails, North Atlantic salmon, and of course, Ishnala's roast duck. Thank you for making Ishnala Wisconsin's favorite supper club, where the only thing we overlook is Mirror Lake. I'm Bob Prosser, and I want to serve you.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
It's time for a getaway to Florida to take on the Rays on the other side of Tampa Bay.
Breaking ball, hammered out to center. Myers back at the track. Wall, bye-bye baseball. Jake Bowers goes deep to center.
Our coverage starts tonight at 5:35 on your home for the Milwaukee Brewers. 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
Good morning. 10 o'clock. We have 49 degrees and sunshine. It's going to be sunny today with high 61 lakeside, 68 inland. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. Police situation still unfolding in the village of Fredonia, Fox Glen Road. It's been going on since midnight. TMJ4 Ozaukee County reporter Alex Gall tells WTMJ Wisconsin's Morning News residents in the area have been given two options by law enforcement.
They were told that they have basically two options this morning, that the officers can escort them out of their homes, the ones that are being affected by this in the neighborhood, or they can stay at home and stay inside because, again, this is a situation where the suspect is believed to have weapons inside the home.
The subject in the home refuses to cooperate and is reportedly heavily armed, been called extremely dangerous. Fox Glen, Pheasant Lane, and Partridge Lane all have been closed till further notice. We'll have more on the situation throughout the morning here on WTMJ. Court today for 42-year-old Jeffrey Ruppnow, the father of the girl who carried out the shooting at Abundant Life Christian School. He's charged with 3 felonies because his daughter, 15-year-old Natalie Ruppnow, had access to guns in their home. One of those guns was used in the December shooting. Interim Madison Police Chief John Patterson.
There was a gun safe in the home. Based on our investigation, it did not stop the teenager from having regular access to the firearms.
Investigators say Jeffrey Ruppnow planned on gifting his daughter another firearm in the home. Natalie Ruppnow killed 2, injured several others at the school in Madison before killing herself. There's still no word about possible motive. Today marks Pope Leo XIV's first full day as leader of the Roman Catholic Church. Bishop Lawrence J. Sullivan, Vicar General of the Archdiocese of Chicago, led a special service honoring the Chicago-born pontiff at Holy Name Cathedral in downtown Chicago this morning for congregants to usher in their new shepherd.
Today is obviously a day of great joy. It's a day of great celebration.
Milwaukee Archbishop Jeffrey Grob tells WTMJ's Wisconsin's Morning News the hyper-analysis of Pope Leo in the U.S. reaffirms the image of a pope that appeals to everyone.
He's approachable. You know, he's not some kind of relic that's locked away in a cabinet somewhere in the halls of the Vatican. I mean, I think it's symbolic of what our church is in need of more so now than ever.
Archbishop Grob says he's hopeful the Pope will make a visit to the U.S. The last papal visit to the U.S. was Pope Francis in Washington, D.C. back in 2015. Former Supreme Court Justice David Souter has died. Souter was appointed by President George H.W. Bush in 1990, passed away at his home in Concord, New Hampshire at the age of 85. A shift in tone from President Trump days ago, saying he would not pull back tariffs in order to have substantive trade negotiations with China, now signaling in a social media post he'd be willing to lower tariffs to 80%.
It comes to those meetings between Chinese and U.S. officials in Switzerland this weekend. U.S. officials have said that this is more about de-escalating tensions. It's not about coming to some grand trade deal, but they do say that this de-escalation is necessary to move this process forward.
That's ABC's Selena Wang. It appears former Milwaukee City Attorney Tierman Spencer is headed to trial. His attorney tells the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel there is zero chance of a plea deal.
He'll stand trial on October 27th for one felony count of misconduct in public office and one misdemeanor count of obstructing an officer. He's accused of using his power as a city attorney to prevent the Department of Neighborhood Services from performing inspections and assessments on a property where he stored cars. If convicted, Spencer could face more than 4 years in prison and fines up to $20,000. Sean Brunda, WTMJ News.
More leadership changes at Kohl's. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reports board member Kristin Day has resigned just days before a shareholder meeting where she was nominated for re-election. This comes after the board fired CEO Ashley Buchanan and former board chair Michael Bender became interim CEO. The board will now vote on 8 members instead of 10 on Wednesday. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Mixed picture on Wall Street with the Dow down 79 points, the Nasdaq up 15, the S&P 500 up a point. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:04.
Who doesn't need a seasonal wardrobe update? But who has the cash to always keep their wardrobe updated? Ladies, that's why you shop St. Vincent de Paul. Our women's clothing is always a highlight of our stores, and thrift store prices keep the costs low. It allows you to experiment and also find a hidden gem. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Spring is in the air, the perfect time to kickstart those home improvement dreams. Hi, Jane Miller here for my friends at Hometown Windows and Doors. They're your local experts in stylish, energy-efficient upgrades. Boost your curb appeal and add real value with top brands like Pella, Anderson, Marvin, and more. All customized to fit your home and your style. Wood, vinyl, or fiberglass, they've got it all. And their newly remodeled New Berlin showroom is the place to start. That's Hometown with an E for your every window and door need. Visit hometownwindows.com today.
Here's to sweet summer days together with friends and family in Wisconsin. To discovering magic in every moment.
Hey, Mom, over here.
And to reconnecting through a world filled with wonder.
Wow.
Here's to supper club celebrations and dancing until the sun goes down. Here's to those who Wisconsin. Plan your summer getaway at travelwisconsin.com.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. Mother's Day is Sunday. Buy one dinner, get one free every night this week at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club near Holy Hill. The drive through the Kettle Moraine Forest is spectacular. Reserve today. Visit foxandhoundsrestaurant.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Brewers back on the road to begin a series against the Rays tonight. Milwaukee 10-8 against American League teams this season. NBA playoff series between the Minnesota Timberwolves and Golden State Warriors all tied up. Timberwolves stomped the Warriors 117-93 at home in Game 2 in order to even up the best-of-7 series at 1 win apiece. Take a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We have a ramp closure. This is going to be I-41 north to I-94 east. It is closed because of a crash there. No word on possible reopening. I-41 north at the ramp from Watertown Plank Road west. The right shoulder there blocked due to a disabled vehicle. Looks like that has been cleared off. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Sunshine today with highs in the lower to upper 60s. Mostly clear tonight. Maybe an isolated shower later on. 49 for the overnight low. Isolated showers early tomorrow, then mostly sunny. A little breezy. High 63 lakeside, 72 inland. Sunny and mild on Sunday. Mother's Day, 66 lakeside, 77 inland. Monday, sunshine, mild temperatures, 72 to 80. And Tuesday, partly cloudy, a slight chance of showers with a high Tuesday, 70 lakeside, up to 80 degrees inland. Madison right now 54, 56 in Green Bay, 55 in Waukesha, and in Milwaukee we have 49 degrees. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:07.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Kristin Brey.
Oh, happy Friday, everybody. Happy Mother's Day Eve, I guess is the way I would put that. Kristin Brey, you're a mom.
Isn't that tomorrow?
I don't know. I think the whole weekend is the whole week should be for moms, so I'll give them the whole damn ball of wax.
Every day should be for moms.
Yes.
Well, we know that's not
moms
true.
do all the heavy lifting. Women are smarter than men. I'll give you all of that stuff. All right, so we do this on Fridays. It's still the remnants of the political power hour. Joe Zepecki in studio as always.
Remnants? That sounds ominous.
Ooh. It could be ominous because this is a feisty one. And that voice you hear on a phone call from some faraway place. Where are you, Bill McCoshen, exactly?
Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
Oh,
beautiful Eau Claire.
I love Eau Claire.
I was in Eau Claire Wednesday night and Thursday morning.
Look at you guys traveling.
Ships passing in the night.
You say ships? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I said ships.
What? All right.
Could be the other thing, too. Yep.
Makes less sense, but...
Gentlemen.
Okay, where are we starting?
We have a new pope from Chicago area.
Chicago Pope.
I'm geeked about this. What do you guys think? Bill McCosher, what do you think about the new pope?
I am fired up about it. I don't know much about former Cardinal Prevost, now Pope Leo the 14th, but I think it's phenomenal that we have our first American pope. He's the 267th man to succeed St. Peter, and the fact that he grew up in the suburbs of Chicago. As the day went on, I mean, the memes on this yesterday, I had one of my best days on X ever. I laughed out loud multiple times. Yes, I'm going to have to go to confession for some of the things I laughed at. But I think it's great for the church. I think it was the change that was necessary. And, I wish him nothing but the best. The fact that he's not a Cubs fan also works in his favor. Sorry, Mayor Ron Bishop, if you're listening. But the fact that he's a Sox fan, not a Cubs fan, works for me because they're not in our division.
Oh, I love the local reference to Waupun. Joseph Pecky, your reaction, new pope.
Bold prediction as we approach Mother's Day. We will have a woman president before we get to our 267th American president. So, some glass ceilings are harder to break than others.
Wait, say that again?
We will have an American president who is a woman before 267. 267 men have been. Sorry, 260.
For popes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you screwed up the ending there.
Yeah.
I'm running out of.
I know, that's fine. That's fine. I wanted to give you a chance to clarify.
They're not all going to land.
So you think we'll have a female president before we have another pope after Pope Leo?
Yes.
That's what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Who's that going to be?
Maybe Kristin.
Maybe Nikki Haley?
She gets my
Definitely not me.
support.
Nikki Haley?
Here's a better question. Is our first woman president going to be a Republican or a Democrat?
For a long time, I thought it was going to be a Republican. Now I think it will be a Democrat.
I was going to say Republican.
Now, as to the Pope, I think it's great. I think it's exciting. The memes are great, but good God, Bill, get off of X, man. Live your life. Touch some grass. But no, I think what I'm not dismayed by, because I'm not surprised, but we really don't have to make everything about American politics.
This is my takeaway.
God.
So it was funny. My neighbor, who's one of the best men I know, practicing Catholic, music teacher at Carmen High School, always checks in with me about stuff. He goes, "So new pope?" And I said, "Yes." And I was like, what's hilarious to me is just the insistence that the Catholic politics have to align with American politics, because everyone's breaking down his views on different things, and it's a mixed bag. And it doesn't squarely align with conservative or progressive in America, right?
Correct. And that's okay.
No doubt.
And
yeah,
we don't.
It is okay.
Yeah, we don't need to make everything right left. Do I, as someone who loves to dunk on J.D. Vance, like that we have a pope who has dunked on J.D. Vance once or twice? Yeah, okay, but that's not his job.
My take on this pope is he's like everybody else. He has different ideas about different things. This idea that we have to pigeonhole you, you're a liberal, you're a conservative, you have to believe all the things that those big groups, those entities believe is BS and stupid. And my goodness, this is a Catholic priest, now pope. This is a great story. He's from the United States. It's never happened before. Stop bogging it down in politics.
But yet a very international person.
Yes,
Speaks 5 languages.
He's done everything.
Can Wisconsin Catholics still use the term fibs on highways now that we have a Catholic pope from Chicago?
Yes.
I don't see that stopping.
He doesn't have to drive himself anymore, so it's fine. He's got a Pope-mobile.
Right. Pope-mobile goes buzzing by. These damn fibs.
Now, because I'm me and I love...
Just think of the common man part of this. I mean, this guy's probably been to Quick Trip. He has no question been to the Oasis. He's been to Portillo's. He's had deep dish pizza. I mean, it doesn't get more American than that. I don't care what his politics are. The Catholic teachings are not right or left necessarily. They're a little of both. I'm okay with all of that. But I love the fact that this guy is a Midwesterner.
There was some connection yesterday. I think Dan Schaefer found that there was a Wisconsin connection. That he somehow, I think, spent time in Waukesha.
I think he's
not shocking.
Didn't he say a mass in Waukesha or
that
something
what it
like that? I
was?
think so.
Okay.
I'll have to go back and look at that.
I think somebody on TV on one of the shows yesterday referred to him as Bob. Father Bob.
Father Bob.
Father Bob.
Because I love doing this, I have to read there's always a Truth Social on this stuff from the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Everyone should thank me for getting Pope Leo elected. I wrote to the conclave people, all caps for some reason. The conclave people. Who is that exactly? And demanded that this guy, this new pope, should be American. The golden age of poping from the President of the United
Non-zero
States.
chance that Donald Trump reached out to the cast of the movie Conclave and
Right.
thought they
Are
were
those the real
ones
guys?
deciding.
Where's Tucci at? Is he not part of this story? All right, we got to take a break already. We're going to get to some fun stuff, including some of the absurdism that comes out of the mouth of the president in his deeds and actions every damn day, and we'll get Bill's hot take on that because I know some of the texters are already fired up about that piece of the show. It's Political Power Hour Friday, Mother's Day weekend. Be nice to your moms because they are the warriors of the world. Don't let anybody tell you different. We got certainly have a great mom with us in studio, Kristin Brey. And shout out to my mom as well, Agnes. Happy Mother's Day early. I'll see you tonight at dinner. All right, quick break. Political Power Hour Friday edition right here on 620 WTMJ.
The leader in the dugout, the skipper, the man who riles up the crew with his words of inspiration.
You mean my old ass? Is that what you're saying?
Yep, that's our guy. Brewers manager Pat Murphy joins Wisconsin's Morning News every Tuesday at 8:45 for Brewers 360.
We're a team that the other team's going to feel us. You know, you're not going to walk away from a series and not be felt. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Brewers 360 is sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited and Big Fish Contracting.
Hey, let's talk about our Heiser Automotive. You know I love talking about Heiser. Driven our vehicles for 5 years. Currently driving a Chevy Silverado. We bought a brand new Chevy Trailblazer from them recently, and Kathy loves it. It's her favorite, and she picked all the stuff out on the thing. And if you're looking for a pre-owned or new car, they can handle all of that. Even beyond that, service appointment, body shop work, oil change. They are ready and willing and able to handle you almost on a moment's notice at any of their 5 great locations. But you know what? You can save the trip if you want to check out availability, whether that's the vehicles, whether that's the service appointments, all available at Heiser.com. This is why they are so good, number one, at customer service. They answer your questions, they get it done right, and you leave happy and fulfilled in your vehicle experience. That's what they're about. That's why they can say every day at Heiser Automotive, and I love saying it myself, today's your day.
Forget average. At Exterior Pros, they bring the heat. They're not here to meet standards, they're here to smash them. From the first swing of the hammer to the final reveal, they're leveling up your home with every window, every shingle, and every single detail. This isn't just a remodel, it's a glow up for your house. Built tough, built beautiful, built to turn heads. Want in? Let's go. Lock in your project now and save $3,000. Exterior Pros, where bold meets built. Trust the pros and visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. All
right, we got to the bottom of it. Pope Leo was a teacher at the Augustinian novitiate in Economowoc. Did I just butcher that entirely?
I think so, but I've driven by that place. Yeah, that's an interesting connection. We love that.
Steve's not trying to say that word either.
No,
Augustinian?
Augustinian. That one I think I got right, but
Novitiate.
Novitiate?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Easy. Yeah.
Go with it.
I'm a pro. You got to read. It.
Oh, I have to read something. Yes, it's the last day. It's the last day for you to
All
nominate
important.
your first responder because we are honoring those who dedicate their lives to keeping us safe. WTMJ is highlighting first responders who went above and beyond this past year through Steve Scaffidi's Salute to Service presented by Waterstone Bank. So this is your last day to nominate someone. WTMJ.com or WTMJ mobile app is how you do that. Like I said, today's the last day, but the finalists will be recognized during Hero Week, May 19th through May 23rd. Help us tell your stories. WTMJ's Steve Scaffidi's Salute to Service, presented by Waterstone Bank.
Yeah, the great folks at Waterstone Bank. Thanks for that. And I got some great ones in yesterday. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Leslie, for sharing great stories. And interview week next week. Kristen's going to be part of that as well. We put the pieces together. Producer Jazz already excited and looking forward to all that extra work that I'm going to pile on her plates. Yes, Joe?
I just wanted to shout out Jessica, a first responder I met yesterday up in Eau Claire, who, when she's not on her 2 ambulance crews she works with, is a caregiver to a couple of folks on Medicaid.
Very nice.
Man, some people are wired for service, and thank you guys for lifting those stories up.
Yeah, anybody that steps up just to be a volunteer or just help people, it's like we should all be doing it. And I'm not buying the we're too busy nonsense. Unless you're, well, maybe that doesn't even apply. President of the United States, you're not too busy. Get out there and help.
And a lot of golf.
A lot of golf. All right, so I'm fascinated by the story, Bill and Joe, because it's sort of this tension between the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, and the Chairman of the Fed, Jerome Powell. And I'm not sure where this is going because I know the UK lowered their interest rates, but our Fed and Jerome Powell said, we're going to hold off on that for now. Bill, Where is this story going, and how do maybe tariffs play into this beyond just the interest rate?
So I'll remind the listeners I'm not an economist, but I think this is where this is going. The Fed has indicated there will be rate cuts later this year. I think they are watching to see how these new trade deals shake out, and if they are, in fact, to the benefit of the United States. We got our first one yesterday with the UK, which is a huge trading partner for us, and opens up hundreds of different ag products into those markets that have not had that opportunity in the past. So for our farmers, they love it. But I think he is waiting, and that's what an economist would do, for all the macro factors before they make a rate cut. But I will say he's said that there will be rate cuts later in the year. I'm hopeful for that because I actually think I feel like Trump is over the hump on these trade deals, and more are going to come over the next 30 and 60 days. And I think that is going to be phenomenal for the economy. It wouldn't surprise me if we got to Labor Day and we were sort of morning in America again back to 1984. I think we're on the cusp of something very big and very spectacular for American workers. And at some point, the Fed will catch up and lower those interest rates.
I wish I could have seen Bill's face when he was doing that to see if he was able to keep it straight the whole time. That was
spit take. He
that
didn't have anything in,
that was
He
incredible.
didn't have any coffee in his mouth.
So we were
Did you like that?
We were led to believe by this president that the trade deficits we have with all these countries around the world is why we have to do these tariffs that are raising prices, squeezing Wisconsin manufacturers, squeezing Wisconsin farmers. But oh wait, hold on. Is that hosannas I hear? We have the most amazing, groundbreaking new trade deal with like the one country in the world we have a trade surplus. Great Britain. This is insanity. Oh, China, literally a bleat this morning. 80% tariff on China feels right to me, but it's up to Scott. There's the buck stops here, President, because he's gone from 145% tariff on China to 80%. You know why? No, because nothing has changed. President Xi hasn't changed one thing about China's policy. In fact, they still have retaliatory tariffs in place. They are making this up as they go along. It is lunacy. And what we are now seeing are the people who work at the major ports saying, we are weeks away from shortages. We have, the folks who unload container ships and truckers going, we don't know if we're going to have jobs in a couple of weeks because President Trump decided in his infinite insanity to take a wrecking ball to an American economy that was stronger than any other nation in the world. What are we doing? Morning in America? Wake up, Bill. It's time for radio. You're not dreaming anymore.
Just for the audience here, I'm sure you're referring to the United States Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Bill, do you have a response?
I do. Of course I do. So 40 reporting, national reporting has 40 Chinese banks going under this week because of the impact of these tariffs on China. These are having a dramatic impact that our media refuses to talk about because it's actually in America's advantage. We will get a new trade deal with China at some point, I think sooner than later. I think that's a possibility by Labor Day as well. They need us more than we need them. 40% of what they export goes to the United States of America. So they can't ignore us.
Just keep moving those goalposts. Trump was going to address prices on day one. Now the big bill's coming in May. Now it's coming in summer.
Have we
now
talked about egg prices lately?
All right. Well, we got to take a break but I do want to follow up on for the American worker bill, what you were referencing. But I also want to talk about the fact that maybe taxes will go up for the rich and not because of who you think wants that to happen. So let's get to that after this on Point Taken.
We didn't write the headline, the Wall Street Journal did. The days of set and forget investing just ended for many Americans. Economic uncertainty and global unrest. It's a wake-up call. Standard financial advice is to avoid making rash decisions during market turmoil. But retirement planning isn't a set it and forget it process anymore. That's where Annex Wealth Management comes in. As fee-only fiduciaries, we craft personalized plans that adapt as needed. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Head to annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button.
We see you out there, building a life you love, knowing that when inspiration strikes, nothing should get in your way. At Blaine's, we're here to help with everything you need to make it happen at prices that make it possible. Like 14-ounce tubes of Blaine's brand multi-purpose grease, $1.99. Rewards members get a free $10 gift card with a $100 Scotch purchase. Plus, this Saturday from 9 to 2, don't miss special offers and test drive select zero-turns and lawn tractors during our Ride and Drive event. Plains Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
St. Anne's Center for Intergenerational Care recently switched to James Imaging Systems for their document imaging technology. Why? CFO Sally Parente.
Well, I think that boils back down to the service. We have a good partnership with James Imaging.
With James, you get more than a vendor relationship. You get a local business technology partner.
Oh, absolutely. I can pick up the phone at any time, contact our representative, and he's right on it.
James Imaging Systems, business technology and local support for more productivity, more value.
Definitely. We're a nonprofit here. We have to watch every penny, so we really feel very comfortable in that area with James Imaging.
Comfortable enough to recommend James Imaging Systems to others?
Well, without hesitation, I would recommend James Imaging. They won't be disappointed.
James Imaging Systems. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
When we're out in your town, come say hi as we broadcast live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
Anytime you hear us when we're on the road, you can find us live from our brand new mobile studio.
Whether it be Summerfest, EAA, Opening Day, Air and Water Show, wherever we may be.
You can see us on the radio, live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
News Radio 620 WTMJ.
Ready to grow, explore, and shine? Join Girl Scouts with the extended year membership by June 30th and get up to 18 months of fun. Plus, girls starting kindergarten or first grade get 3 awesome activity books and a special gift free. Visit girlscouts.org and join the adventure today.
Stop struggling to get your job posts seen on other job sites. Indeed's Sponsored Jobs feature helps you stand out and hire fast. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
It is the Political Power Hour on Point Taken with Joe Zepecki and Bill McCoshen on the phone. All right, since we only got about 5 minutes to cover this, I want to hear, Bill, specifically from you, the back and forth reports that Trump has been having conversations about raising taxes on the rich. And so people should probably know that the highest tax rate right now is 37%, and it applies to those making more than $626,000 a year. But there is talks about making a new tax bracket for those earning more than $5 million per year. Would this ever happen with a GOP trifecta, Bill?
So it doesn't look like it. Trump pulled away from it this morning. And to be clear, what he's talking about is raising the top rate for individuals that make more than $2.5 million or couples that make $5 million or more. So there's actually 2 pieces of that to 39.5%. So raising it by 2.5%. This morning, on Truth Social, he basically said, I don't have the support within the Republican conference to do this. It is not Republican orthodoxy to raise taxes on anyone. You may not reduce it on every income category, but we've never been for raising taxes. And what he said on Truth Social was basically, I don't want to read my lips moment like George H.W. Bush had in '88 when he promised the convention in New Orleans he wouldn't raise taxes, and then he went ahead and did it. So it doesn't look like that's going to happen. There wasn't enough support. But I will say it's generally popular when you poll it. And if Trump is anything, he's got his ear to the ground and he's got an unbelievable political antenna. So I think he's trying to signal to, the Congress, in case there are Democrats out there who are willing to negotiate with him, that he's willing to deal. So I don't think he's going to get that, to be honest with you. My big hope is that the big, beautiful bill actually happens by the 4th of July. Joe and I have had multiple bets on that. And yeah, I have moved the goalposts a little bit, but I do think that's going to get done. And that will be the biggest test of Speaker Mike Johnson's career and newly elected Majority Leader John Thune's career. If they can't get that done, I don't know how they survive.
I just love that we live in a time when Donald Trump is taking economic and tax advice from Senator Elizabeth Warren.
I know.
Who thought we would live this long? Listen, it is absurd that on issue after issue, every Republican, every former actual conservative who has just bent the knee to this president, that this is the line they can't cross, right? do away with due process? Sure, no problem, right? Slash spending that we, the Congress, appropriated under the Constitution? Sure, no problem. But raise taxes on the wealthy? Shudder. And suddenly they find enough backbone to say no. If that doesn't tell you all you need to know about what's left of the Republican Party, I don't know what to tell you, folks.
Bill, if Trump said to his Republican leaders, we need to do this, this has to happen, he's got a lot of sway. I'm the first person to admit that. When he says things, they jump to attention and usually get them done. At least they try to get them done. So why would we think that if the president's, he's flip-flopped in the course of 24 hours both ways on this issue, if he says we're going to have to do this, that the gentlemen you mentioned are going to get it done for him? Why would we think otherwise?
Yeah, I just don't think the votes would be there, particularly in the House, but, even in the Senate. Under reconciliation, only need 50 votes, 50 plus one. The vice president casts the tie-breaking vote, but I just don't think the votes would be there to do this. So there will come a point in time in the sausage-making process where everything's on the table in order to count the votes. Ultimately, it's about the math. Can you get to 218 in the House? Can you get to 50 plus the vice president in the Senate? And what are the components that get to that? So this is really all about math. I think the tax increase is a subtractor. It doesn't add votes necessarily, because I don't see Democrats coming on board for what else is in that package just to get a tax increase on the highest income earners. I don't see that happening. So it doesn't add.
Bill, we only have about 20 seconds left, but do you think they have the votes to cut Medicaid in order to pay for this bill?
No, I'm going to talk about this later in the show, but I would hope that people pay attention to what is being said about Medicaid. Yesterday, Brett Baer had a phenomenal interview with.
All right, you got to put a pin in it. We'll save that for later, because now we have to go to ABC News and local headlines.
ABC News, I'm Sherry. Preston, another screen blackout for air traffic controllers trying to get planes into the air and on the ground at Newark Airport. Here's a sound from liveatc.net of a controller speaking to a jet coming in from Cyprus.
Section 651, we just had another brief radar outage, so just in case that happens again, for your purposes, if you can't reach me, just stay at or above 3,000 until you're passing Morristown, and then you can just clear for the approach from there.
The government proposing a complete overhaul of the nation's air traffic control systems because they're so outdated. Pope Leo XIV celebrating his first Mass at the Vatican today. He will be formally installed as Pope on May 18th, according to the Vatican. The FDA has approved the first at-home testing kit for cervical cancer. The test is called the Teal Wand. It's designed for women who can't or don't want to get a regular pelvic exam at the doctor's office. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:31. I'm Connie Weber. A track meet between Rufus King and Waterford Union High School ended early Wednesday after multiple Rufus King athletes and parents say they were targeted with racist taunts. Parents say slurs and inappropriate stereotypes were directed at students from the moment they arrived, some even from the stands and from concession workers. Rufus King's coaching staff pulled the team from the meet, saying students no longer felt safe. Waterford Union High School says it's investigating and that behavior targeting race or identity has no place in their community. Two West Dallas Fire Department administrators, Deputy Fire Chief Michael Wright and Assistant Chief Jay Scharfenberg, on paid leave for an internal investigation. Scharfenberg was charged with 9 policy violations 2 months ago for intimidating and insulting subordinates. The West Dallas Police and Fire Commission looking to have him fired. City leaders have not shared details about Wright. Welcoming new feathered friends. 3 peregrine falcon chicks hatched at the We Energies power plant in Oak Creek Thursday morning to parents Essity and Joel. Couple welcomed 2 chicks last week. Over 450 peregrine falcons have hatched at We Energies and WPS facilities since the program started in the 1990s. Here's the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management market update. Markets are down this hour. The Dow off 108 points, 41,259. The Nasdaq is down 22 at 17,911. The S&P 500 is down 5 points at 5,658. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We still have that ramp closure due to a crash. This is going to be I-41 North to I-94 East. No word on reopening time. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Sunshine today with highs in the lower to upper 60s. Mostly clear tonight. An isolated shower later with a low 49. Isolated showers still lingering tomorrow morning. Then mostly sunny, a little breezy. High 63 lakeside, 72 inland. Sunny and nice on Sunday. Highs in the mid-60s to upper 70s. Sunny and mild on Monday. High 72 up to 80 inland. Slight chance of showers on Tuesday. Otherwise partly cloudy with highs again around 70 lakeside, 80 inland. Right now, looking around, we are at 49 degrees in Milwaukee, 55 in Waukesha, 56 in Green Bay, and 54 in Madison. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:33.
UW-Madison is one of the country's leading hubs for supporting life-changing research and building a skilled workforce. An investment in UW-Madison helps make a healthier Wisconsin, build strong businesses, and win the war for workforce talent, not just at Madison, but across our entire state. Visit uwalumni.com/UW5 to tell your legislators to support UW-Madison in the Wisconsin state budget. That's uwalumni.com/UW5. Paid for by the Wisconsin Alumni Association.
Academic Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
Don't settle for a flimsy bank pre-approval. Get the pre-approval listing agents and sellers recognized as better than the rest. The rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval from AccuNet. Get yours by clicking on the blue button at accunet.com.
Fleet Farm's Garden Center has discounts on hundreds of plants, flowers, vegetables, fertilizers, and more. Like Farm Fresh Selects 10-inch hanging baskets for $17.99. And large bags of Miracle-Gro all-purpose garden soil for just $7.99. Plus, get a 21-inch full-bore 3-in-1 push mower on sale for only $259.99. When it comes to the great outdoors, let Fleet Farm handle all your patio, lawn, and garden needs at the best prices guaranteed.
Buying a new roof might not be the most exciting thing you'll do this year, but for us at Big Fish Contracting, being chosen to do that roof for you not only provides income for multiple families in southeastern Wisconsin, but has a global reach and impact around the world. To us, it's more than just a roof. We've been earning trust for over 2 decades, roofing, siding, windows, and more. Go to bigfishcontracting.com to learn how Big Fish is renovating homes and redeeming an industry.
All right, second half hour. We might even have a bonus half hour if Joe's sticking around. We'll talk about some other stuff. But Bill McCosh, Republican strategist, Joe Sapecki, Democratic strategist. In studio, Joe is, and Bill's on the road, which Bill's a busy guy. He's a smart guy. So I'm going to ask this in the nicest possible way, but give me some air to breathe on this one, because there's so many things I could say. This is sort of a topic that people have been waiting for me to ask you specifically, and it has to do with the intelligence quota, that's not the word, quotient for the President of the United States. I'm going to run through some of these. We saw this week, of course, the famous picture of Trump as Pope. He posted it. White House Social shared it. Things like he said this week, we don't do much business with Canada. Well, you know what? Actually, they're our number one exporter, our export to Canada. He said things about gas prices that weren't true. He said they were below $2. The closest one we could get was $2.70. Falsely claimed Ukraine was starting the war with Russia. Wants to make Canada the 51st states. Falsely claimed the U.S. has to fund Japan's military. They actually pay billions of dollars a year and support us in our efforts. He said, famously, that 38,000 people died building the Panama Canal. The actual number, white Americans, 350. Not even close. He falsely claimed he won Wisconsin 3 times. We know that's not true because he lost in 2020. Big time. Bill McCoshen. And that's just the tip of the iceberg on the crazy, saying guys are U.S. citizens when they're Russians. It never ends with this guy. Is he bat guano crazy, Bill, or is he playing some weird strategy game that none of us who are like sane, rational, reasonable Republicans understand? Your time, Bill. Go.
So this is where our listeners would love to be on our text chain, right? Between the 4 of us, because this discussion gets heated. It's funny. It's all of the above. Listen, this guy's a sales guy, and he's always marketing. He's always selling. He's always trying to get leverage on something or someone to improve the situation. And it's unusual. It's not what we would consider sort of presidential from a historical standpoint, but it works. I mean, this guy gets results. There is no question about that. So how he gets there is less important to me than the fact that he's delivering on the promises he made on the campaign trail.
Give me the results, Bill. Bill, what are the results? Other than winning the election, what are the results? Give them to me.
We have the most secure border in our history. Does anyone dispute that?
We have less people coming across. I'll give them that one.
Okay, so I would say the most secure border in our history. Our economy is rebounding, and inflation is flat, not growing. We're growing jobs, private sector jobs. We're shrinking government sector jobs. We're actually identifying real cuts in government spending. Now, the trick there, and we've talked about this on our text chain too, is Republicans have to memorialize those in the reconciliation bill. If they don't, then those cuts don't actually go away. Those programs don't actually go away. So Republicans have a real role to play over the next 6-7 weeks as they get ready to finalize that reconciliation bill. But I would say that this guy's doing exactly what he said he was going to do. He said he was going to redo trade negotiations with all of our partners. And by gosh, he blew up all trading arrangements across the globe. And he gave himself credit this week that that's the reason that these countries are coming to the table so quickly. Otherwise, they would have tried to wait him out. So I think he's delivering on the promise he's made. Even people who have suffered from some of these quote unquote cuts are saying this guy's doing what he said he was going to do. I'd rather have a president who does that than somebody who does nothing.
This is Baghdad Bill's finest hour. Jazz, can we please clip that and make a note to in 8 weeks, just play it back and see how this lands?
Well, because also, Bill, I mean, I was just reading this morning that we've actually spent $166 billion more than last year because of between immigration spending, defense spending, strain on Social Security and Medicare. Like, we've added $196 billion to the deficit so far in this fiscal year. I mean, this is with the DOGE cuts.
We had to borrow, I think it's $55 billion less last month for the first time. We were borrowing less. We've been living on somebody else's money, mostly China's, for a long, long time. And that's starting to reverse itself. And I think that's ultimately going to be good for Americans long term. Especially American workers.
Let me ask it this way. Shouldn't the presidents at the highest level of government, most powerful leader in the world probably, on most days, in most situations, just tell the truth and not make up stuff because it works politically? I mean, is that such a high bar that we can't ask our presidents to do that? Just get the facts right, because I'm pretty sure you got a lot of people working for you. They kiss your you-know-what, and they write it down for you. Just read what they wrote, because I hope that they're writing the right thing. Get the basic stuff right. Why would I trust someone who doesn't get the basic things right to do bigger things? That's why I don't trust DOGE, because it's all talk. And so far, and you can talk about whatever Congress decides to do with that, I'm not seeing anything coming back to me. That's my concern, Bill.
Well, we're going to get to that. I mean, it won't come back to you until Congress memorializes it. That's for sure. They just won't be spent. Those dollars won't be spent in this fiscal year. So Congress has a huge role to play. And honestly, I think they were supposed to vote on some of that this week, and made me a little bit nervous about both Speaker Johnson and Majority Leader Thune that they had to cancel those votes. So you're getting Republican pushback, and not all the cuts are perfect. I've admitted that on the air before. I think some of those things can get fixed kind of quietly, but the big stuff, oh my God, if Republicans can't get to yes on that, then they're not Republicans, because we've always been for smaller government. We'll get there, and taxpayers will benefit.
All right. Well, speaking of smaller government, let's turn our eyes to Wisconsin and the news that happened this week as far as how much was cut from Governor Evers' original budget proposal and what Joint Finance Committee voted on yesterday. So stay with us on Point Taken.
This is Libby Collins. This week on WTMJ Conversations, we talk with Hartford Township Police Captain Adam Myers about the day he shot and killed a woman in the line of duty and his mental health struggles in the aftermath.
This piece of hate mail was mailed to the police department without a return address. What's your big, strong, macho policeman doing shooting and murdering a developmentally disabled young lady? I hope a DUI driver shoots you.
WTMJ Conversations, Sunday mornings at 11 on WTMJ.
Hey, it's WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi for Badger Fence. You know I love talking about my fence because it changed our yard. It made it look so much nicer. It allowed us to do better landscaping. Company I chose, Badger Fence. They've been installing high-quality, durable fences, get this, since 1945. Proud member of the Better Business Bureau, A-plus rating. Doesn't get any better than that. Wide choice of fence styles. It offers privacy, security, all the things you're looking for in a fence. And oh, by the way, licensed, bonded, insured, using the best materials in the industry. 76 years of experience, so whether you want wood, which is what we chose, ornamental, chain link, PVC, they can help you choose the right materials for your project. And when it comes to quality, unmatched. and at the most competitive prices. We love our new wood fence, and when Kathy and I were shopping around, we found the right match with Badger Fence. Set up an appointment to talk with Badger Fence about your project. Fences make good neighbors, by the way. I'll testify to that. BadgerFence.com. Tell them Scaffidi from WTMJ sent you.
Here's to experiencing it all this summer in Wisconsin. Every deliciously cheesy, rockin', magical, fireworks-filled, festival-loving moment. There's Cheese Curd Fest in Ellsworth, Strawberry Fest in Cedarburg, Festival of the Arts in Stevens Point, and the Renaissance Fair in Bristol, Honor the Earth Powwow in Hayward, Mile of Music in Appleton, Venetian Fest, Bratfest, Summerfest. So many fests for your whole crew. Find them all at travelwisconsin.com.
When you hear that air conditioner working overtime, it's already past the time you should have USA Insulation out to the house. Vince Vitrano here. Give that AC unit and your electric bills a break by making a long-term investment that pays you back. USA Insulation is the answer to saving on your heating and cooling costs from day one. Between the heating and cooling season, that's when Jeff and his team have the most room on the schedule. Tell them Vinny sent you. USAinsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
Have you heard a lot of buzz about tariffs?
No.
Really? What's a tariff? It's a tax on imported goods.
Well, I've never heard of tariffs because 92.3% of Penny Mustard's furniture is made in the USA.
True.
In fact, most of it is built by local craftsmen and women right here in the Midwest.
And locally sourced furniture will never have a tariff on it.
Can we talk about this later? I'm tired of hearing about these tariffs.
So I guess you can say that all this talk about tariffs is taxing.
PennyMustard.com.
The next time you're due for service, visit richlands.com to schedule an appointment at any of our 5 conveniently located facilities.
All AAA approved and all staffed by ASE certified technicians ready to serve you.
Richlands.
Welcome back to Point Taken, the Friday edition Political Power Hour with Joe Zepecki in studio and Bill McCoshen on the phone. There was some, we'll say progress, I guess, because it's another step in the journey to getting a biennial budget in the state of Wisconsin. But Steve and I talked about yesterday, the Joint Finance Committee voted to reject about 600 different proposals from Governor Evers' budget proposal. I'm not sure if people were shocked, but a lot of those, I will say, were policy proposals, and there's an argument to be had as far as those not having a place in the budget and being legislation that gets introduced later. But Bill, I will start with you as far as my question to Steve yesterday, and I'll ask both of you, both Joe and Bill, what are the chances that we will still have a surplus and that the money that has been in the surplus will not get spent in this bill? Bill, I will start with you.
A good question. So just for the listeners, a little bit of 15-year history. This is the 7th budget in a row where Republicans have been in the majority in both houses and where they have stripped out the policy items. Now, you got to think about that for a second. That means that included budgets from Scott Walker, a Republican. So this is not unusual. What happened yesterday, they took out 615 items. Not all of them were policy. Some had a fiscal connection to them. It's possible some of those things could come back at some point in time, but I think there's a couple of key points here. Number one, they essentially funded state agencies at a cost-to-continue level. So they spent $500 million yesterday. Purportedly, Wisconsin has a $4.1 billion surplus. Republicans won't spend one more nickel until at least sometime after next Friday when the new fiscal estimates come out. Most Republicans believe that our surplus has shrunk, probably to 3.6, 3.5, somewhere in that neighborhood. In other words, about $500 million less. A good portion of that is one-time money, which means you can't fund ongoing programs with one-time money. So it is possible. Last thing I'm doing my weave like Trump does. I'm going to bring this all together. The final point on this is they have to pay some attention to what is going on with the reconciliation bill, because there may be gaps in the state budget. If the feds are no longer going to fund some higher education thing, some K-12 thing, or a Medicaid-related or healthcare-related thing, then lawmakers will have to decide if they want to fill that gap. So I believe that they will save some of the surplus to sort of manage forward for what may happen at the federal level. So budget process really just kicked off yesterday. The next 4 weeks are crucial on this. The key is whether or not the governor and the Republican lawmakers can find some grand bargains.
Bill's doing a great job, so I'm just going to ask him another question. Why did the Republicans in joint finance not just throw out the governor's budget in its entirety this time and work from base? Why did they just go the route of pulling the policy items?
Yeah, so that's sort of misleading. They never actually throw the whole thing out. They strip it back and start from base for the most part. And they've done that to Walker. They did that to Evers through, this will be the third budget of his, where they've done that. Not unusual. The numbers are different in the legislature. There's closer majorities for Republicans than at any point in the last 15 years, but it doesn't automatically guarantee Democrats a seat at the table. The only thing that gets Democrats at the table is if Republicans cannot produce 17 votes in the Senate and 50 votes in the Assembly to pass the bill. If they can do those two things, they don't necessarily need Democrats.
To answer, thank you, Bill. To answer Kristin's question, I would be very careful about spending down our surplus because the economic catastrophe that is the Trump administration is going to be multifaceted and profound and long. Yes, the reconciliation package, whatever happens, is going to cause problems for the state budget. And the economy is going to shrink. Fewer people are going to work. Tax revenues are going to go down. Tourism is going to stop, or decrease. That is going to impact the state's coffers for years to come. So I would be very careful about spending that surplus.
So does that mean that you...
Jaslyn has to keep that clip. Well, when she plays the one that Joe wanted of me, she's got to play that one. That one's going to come back to bite him in the eye.
Well, that's what I was just going to ask. So does that mean that you agree as far as taking a lot of the things out of... Because this was the Governor Evers' bill was a very big... bloated budget, some would say. And so do you agree that...
I would not agree with that. I think those are smart, sound investments.
But that would have spent down the surplus.
Spent it down, but not eliminated it.
This is inside baseball, but the governor only has two ways to introduce policy. One is the budget, and the other are special session bills. That's it. So all governors try and put as much of their policy or their agenda in the budget as possible. The current history over the last 15 years is most of that gets stripped out and considered as separate legislation. Doesn't mean the items are dead. It just means they're on a different track.
Here's an idea as we wrap this one up. Maybe just give some of that money back to the people that paid it in.
Here's an idea. Give Democrats a chance to run the budget process. Let's flip some chambers in 2026.
Win some elections.
Says the guy who wants to be in charge of that.
Yeah. All right. Lots more to get to, including a lawsuit over maps. Boy, it seems like we have this story every few years. Anyway... this could change things. We'll discuss with Bill and Joe on the Political Power Hour of Point Taken with Kristin and Steve on this Friday edition. Happy Mother's Day early, everybody.
All right, team, listen up. Merle the Squirrel's here to tell you why Capitol's duck cleaning is a game changer.
What did he say?
He said, if you haven't cleaned your ducks in 5 years, you're breathing in all kinds of junk. And unlike those companies who use glorified shop vacs, we use high-powered trucks to clean your ducks the right way.
Yeah, makes sense. Cleaner ducks, cleaner air, healthier home.
Exactly.
Schedule your duck cleaning today and save $200. That's right, save $200.
Call CapitalCares.com.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve for Advent. Yes, change your life. I talked about it earlier in a different context, but this one is about sleeping and waking up rested and refreshed. I had snoring issues. I was a bad snorer. I freely admit that. My poor wife, Kathy, had to deal with all of that. Led to poor sleep, not feeling rested and refreshed. I did something about it. I went to Advent, 30-minute visit. They put me at ease. They did a really simple sleep study at home in my own bed. They figured it out for me. My problem, root cause, sinuses and nasal passage in my breathing triangle. After a short procedure done in office, breathing better than ever, sleeping through the whole night. It's worth it. 8 hours uninterrupted sleep last night. Feel fantastic. A lot of energy. If you struggle like I used to, take the time to see how Advent can help you to find out how breathing well and sleeping well, more importantly, can make your nights better. Go to adventknows.com. Schedule an appointment today. Do not wait. Change your life right now. Make the call or go online, adventknows.com, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Amish outdoor furniture with poly and wood available. And that poly is the richest of outdoor furniture. It's just about indestructible and will virtually last forever. At Erickson's, we have poly furniture in abundance, so you're guaranteed to see a great selection. The beauty of it is you can put it outside all year round and not worry about it, because the color runs all the way through, so it doesn't fade, and minor nicks and scratches won't hurt the look. Erickson's Landscape Supply, for an abundant selection of poly and wood Amish outdoor furniture. Visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. You'll be hard-pressed to find a better selection of metal yard art than we have here at Erickson's. Anything from natural and painted metal signs to painted roosters from 1 to 6 feet tall. Natural steel flying ducks and cattails. Cute little frogs, geckos, pigs, flamingos, and goats. And palm trees. The list is endless. And that's why you come here. Erickson's Landscape Supply, right on Spring Street in Union Grove, where you'll find a fantastic array of artisanal metal yard art. Visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. Or better yet, drive on over and take a gander at the goods.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Shopco Optical. Get eyewear for everything you do at Shopco Optical. Schedule your annual comprehensive eye exam, check out new frame styles, and order your annual supply of contact lenses, all in one place. Enjoy the time and attention your eyes deserve at Shopco Optical. Receive quality eye care and a personalized vision solution tailored to your specific vision and lifestyle needs. Call Shopco Optical or visit shopco.com to schedule an appointment at a location nearest you.
It's Blaine's Farm and Fleet's 70th anniversary, so we're celebrating with over $25,000 in gift cards and prizes. Live project demos for the whole family, plus 2 days of exclusive deals throughout the store. Celebrate 70 years of value this Friday and Saturday at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
All right. Well, news yesterday after we were off the air is that a Democratic law firm has refiled towards the Wisconsin Supreme Court to reconsider the state's congressional boundaries ahead of the 2026 midterms. This was rejected last year, and I don't know. Maybe Joe, you can give a little bit more context as far as what the difference is this time around that they have refiled.
I will be candid in that I don't know.
Okay.
What I do know is that although there is a progressive majority on our state Supreme Court, no one should assume that this is a slam dunk. This is not proven to be, and I don't think it will change when Crawford is seated, that this is some kind of rubber stamp court for progressive wish lists. Take, for example, the 7-0 decision to, put Judge Dugan on administrative leave. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's a lot of people who are very concerned about how that all went down. But the state Supreme Court stepped in and said, we don't care what liberals think about, whether this was done correctly or incorrectly. We're going to bench her for a little bit. And so, listen, let's be patient. The wheels of justice take time to turn. There will probably be more suits. Whether those will be collapsed into one, I don't know. I trust this court to look at the cases on the merits. And I believe that it is not controversial to say that 50-50 battleground Wisconsin has gerrymandered congressional maps, right? When you have 6-2 at best 5-3, that is not reflective of the 50-50 nature of our politics. Now, that is the political reality and not the legal reality. So I'm in politics, and the judges will deal with the legal piece of it. But there's no question that our legislative maps are fairer today than they were. And if we could get congressional maps that were a little fairer, I don't think that would be a bad thing for our politics.
Bill, real quick, we don't have a ton of time. What do Wisconsin conservatives think of this latest lawsuit?
So these are the governor's maps. Governor Evers drew these congressional maps. Couple points. You guys ought to ask Rick Etzenberg if you have him on next week about this. The Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty put out a memo about this. You never say never in politics, but it will be very difficult to overturn the current maps because they've been approved by courts in the past. And moreover, this Supreme Court won't have the final say. To modify these maps, you will likely have to cross into what's called the Voting Rights Act. That's what kicks this thing up to the U.S. Supreme Court, which is a 6-3 conservative majority most days, not all days. Amy Coney Barrett's sort of gone south on us. But this won't be settled at the Wisconsin Supreme Court, regardless if they want it to be or not. This one will make it to the U.S. Supreme Court.
All right, well, Bill's going to stick around for one more segment, so it's like a little bonus hour, not the full hour, bonus 10 minutes. So we'll do grab bag when we come back from top of the hour news. All right, stay with us. Point taken.
Maybe you don't need a new garage door. You just need to keep the door you love looking good and functioning well. Vince Vitrano for Lifetime Door Company, where they're always available to service your existing door. In the meantime, some tips from Rick Burr at Lifetime. Do not use a pressure washer on that door. It can damage the finish and paint. Do not remove parts for cleaning. Leave that to the experts. Do use a silicone-based lubricant 4 times a year. And if you need a can, stop by the showroom at 124th and Burleigh. Tell them Vinny sent you, and they'll give you one for free. LifetimeDoor.net.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Flimsy, feeble, flaccid. That's how you can describe most pre-approval letters these days, because most banks still issue pre-approval letters without actually verifying your income, employment, or down payment. That's the exact opposite of an Accunet rock-solid, fully verified and guaranteed pre-approval, where we put a $2,000 guarantee behind the fact the seller can actually rely on the terms of your pre-approval and offer. With Accunet, there's also a possibility of issuing a property-specific pre-approval with as little as a 10% down payment that includes the magic words, "no appraisal required." That's right, Accunet may be able to issue your pre-approval without needing an appraisal. That's the kind of certainty that can help a seller say yes to your offer. Sure, you can try competing with a flimsy bank pre-approval, or you can click on the blue button at Accunet.com and get started with the pre-approval listing agents and sellers recognized as the best in the business. That's ACCUNET.com.
A Brewers group outing is the best way to celebrate any special occasion. Whether it's a birthday party, anniversary, or bachelor party, baseball is better with a group. Grab your crew of just 15 or more for an event you won't forget. Brewers account reps make your day at the ballpark a breeze. Plus, get set up with customizable tailgate spaces, seating blocks in your favorite location at American Family Field, and much more. Start planning your group outing now at brewers.com/groups.
We get it. You're on the go, and life gets in the way. Stay up to date on all things WTMJ with podcasts of every show available on WTMJ.com. And don't forget, you can stream WTMJ online and watch your favorite WTMJ shows on YouTube. Every show, when you want it, no matter where you are. We are Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio 620 WTMJ.
The Midwest's best baseball and softball training facility and retail center is here in New Berlin, and it's ready for you and your team. From little leaguers to hardcore players and trainers, this is the place you'll want to be.
You can't beat Burghardt.
It's time for a getaway to Florida to take on the Rays on the other side of Tampa Bay.
Breaking ball, hammered out to center. Myers back at the track. Wall, bye-bye baseball. Jake Bowers goes deep to center.
Our coverage starts tonight at 5:35 on your home for the Milwaukee Brewers. 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
11 o'clock, we have sunshine, 51 degrees. It's going to stay sunny today with high 61 lakeside, 68 inland. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. That hours-long armed standoff continues in the village of Fredonia. SWAT teams from Milwaukee and Washington County on the scene near the home on Fox Glen Road, where a man has been inside, heavily armed. Dan Harbison lives nearby, tells WTMJ authorities have been on the scene since just before midnight.
They have 4 drone operators sitting underneath a tent. Last night, like 2:30 in the morning, they threw like a percussion grenade, I think it was, because there was a giant bang. And then about 10 minutes later, there was another one.
Fox Glen Road, Pheasant Lane, and Partridge Lane all have been closed till further notice. We'll have more on this situation throughout the morning here on WTMJ. Court today for the father of the Abundant Life Christian school shooter. 42-year-old Jeffrey Rupp now faces 3 felony charges after investigators say his daughter, 15-year-old Natalie Rupp, now had access to legally purchased guns in their home. Madison Police Interim Chief John Patterson.
These firearms were purchased legally at stores here in Dane County. They were purchased by the shooter's father, Jeffrey Ruppnow. Multiple other weapons were recovered during a search of the home. All of these weapons, including one that was about to be gifted to the same teen, were purchased legally.
Natalie Ruppnow killed 2 people and injured 6 others in the December shooting in Madison before turning the gun on herself. Radar screens at Newark Airport went black again briefly early this morning. The second outage there in 2 weeks. Air traffic controllers heard talking to a FedEx plane at a private jet. Details from ABC's Sam Sweeney.
They say, we just lost our radar. If you can contact us,
stay at or above 3,000 feet on your approach into Teterboro. That plane was arriving from Cyprus. They then go on to tell the FedEx plane to contact their airline or FedEx as a company to put pressure on officials to get this problem fixed.
Sweeney reporting more than an hour delay on average for arriving and departing flights. Today is Pope Leo XIV's first full day as leader of the Roman Catholic Church. His first Mass was attended by cardinals from around the world in the Sistine Chapel. Those in attendance included cardinals who were considered contenders during this week's conclave. Former Supreme Court Justice David Souter is dead at the age of 85, passing away Thursday at his home in Concord, New Hampshire. Souter was appointed by President George H.W. Bush in 1990. As GOP lawmakers work on a budget bill, President Trump posting on social media he'd be okay with raising taxes on the wealthy, but adds that Republicans probably shouldn't. More from ABC's Selena Wang.
This post comes as House Republicans continue to try and negotiate what President Trump is calling a big, beautiful bill, trying to get much of his agenda passed before Memorial Day. However, the tax portion of the reconciliation bill is still not finalized as Republican lawmakers are working through some of their policy differences.
State Republicans have slashed more than 600 items from Governor Tony Evers' office has pushed for the state to pass. State Senator Howard Markline of Spring Green says the cuts targeted policies that were not budgetary in nature.
Well, if they're popular items, then they should be drafting a separate bill and it should go through the normal legislative process. I mean, I can point to things in the budget bill that we're going to pull out that I like. Milk labeling is something that I like, and we're pulling that out as well. It's a policy. It's got nothing to do with the budget.
The deadline for the state budget is July 1st. Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is down 59 points. The Nasdaq is down 10. The S&P 500 is down 2. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather up next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:04.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-375-8936. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-375-8936. 800-375-8936. 800-375-8936.
In 1955, cars first rolled on to Road America. And many of those same cars are back again as vintage racing lives at Road America, America's national park of speed. Kick off the 70th anniversary season at the Spring Vintage Festival weekend with SVRA, May 16th through the 18th. The fastest of the fast of the past, including race and sports cars from all 70 years and even further back than that. Vintage Festival weekend, May 16th to the 18th at Road America. Get tickets at roadamerica.com.
Fleet Farm's Garden Center has discounts on hundreds of plants, flowers, vegetables, fertilizers, and more. Like Farm Fresh Selects 10-inch hanging baskets for $17.99. And large bags of Miracle-Gro all-purpose garden soil for just $7.99. Plus, get a 21-inch full-bore 3-in-1 push mower on sale for only $259.99. When it comes to the great outdoors, let Fleet Farm handle all your patio, lawn, and garden needs at the best prices guaranteed.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Brewers back on the road to begin a series against the Rays tonight. Milwaukee 10-8 against American League teams this season. And the NBA playoff series between the Minnesota Timberwolves and Golden State Warriors all tied up. Timberwolves stopped the Warriors 117-93 at home in Game 2 in order to even up the best-of-7 series at 1 win apiece. Take a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. A couple of crashes have closed exits. A new one's going to be on Highway 175 south, Brewers Boulevard from I-94 west. That is closed due to a crash, and an earlier crash also has closed the ramp from I-94 north to I-94 east. Here's the WTMJ 5-day forecast. Sunny today with high 61 lakeside, 68 inland. Isolated showers overnight and possibly early tomorrow morning as well. Overnight low of 49. Tomorrow, after those possible showers, it'll be sunny with high 63 to 72 inland. Sunny and mild on Sunday, high 66 to 77. Sunny and nice on Monday, high 72 to 80. Slight chance of showers on Tuesday, but still warm with high 70 lakeside, 80 inland. 57 in Madison, 59 in Green Bay and Waukesha, 51 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:08.
All right. Since we got most of the politics out of our systems, let's finish up with some grab bags.
It's weird doing the grab bag at the top of the hour, but yeah, a little bonus. We got Bill and Joe. Bill's on the road, so Bill McCoshen, we'll let you go grab bagging first.
Okay, my grab bag this week is about Federal DOT Secretary Sean Duffy. Full disclosure, Sean is a personal friend of mine, and my youngest son works for him. I'm going to give you a little backstory quickly. I was at a small fundraiser for a Wisconsin congressman about a month ago, and I asked, there were 15 people in the room. I asked the congressman, I won't name him, is Sean Duffy going to get that money to rebuild the FAA and all the telecommunications related to the FAA? And this congressman asked the group, 15 people, how many of you have ever been in a control tower? Well, his hand and his chief of staff's hand went up. The other 13, nobody had ever been in a control tower. The congressman said, listen, if any of you had ever been in a control tower, you would never fly again. And it sort of sent a chill across the room. And having watched Sean all week, roll out his new FAA plan, he has outlined a lot of the significant problems. This technology is 1950s, 1960s. At best, it's 1970s. And technology has moved so fast and so far since then, and nobody has addressed this. So my grab bag is a big shout out to Sean Duffy for tackling a very big problem, but also a word of caution to him. Because let's not forget, in the infrastructure package, Pete Buttigieg rolled out an $80 billion EV plan to build EV stations from coast to coast. To date, I believe only 2 have been constructed on an $80 billion spend. So announcing the program is one thing. Stay in the cockpit, Sean. Get this done. It's in the interest of the safety of all air travelers going forward. I commend you for tackling a massive issue. This will define your secretaryship, so good luck, my friend.
All right, Joe Zepecki, what is in your grab bag?
We'll stay on transportation for a short one. I just loved the Newsmax guest this week who is attacking Pete Buttigieg by saying that bike lanes were communist garbage. That's the quote, communist garbage. And I wish I'd been on the program with that person, because I would have asked, is it the bike that makes it communist, or is it the lane? Because we also have traffic lanes on socialist roads that are paid for by everybody and the cost is shared. So I'll just throw that one in the transportation space. And if you have not read Kristin Brey's column with her message, her Mother's Day message to the pro-natalist movement, correct that immediately. Go to JS Online and read that. Thank you for writing it, Kristin, and thank you to all of the moms out there. A special shout out to the ones in my life, starting with my mother and my better half and my sister. There's many, many more, but love the moms, not just on Mother's Day, but every day. And to the couple of kids who I'm trying to wrangle so we can put together a Mother's Day meal, kids, respond to the text so I can go shopping.
You need ideas is what you need, right?
My grab bag is a preview into next week. I am very excited. I am going to be hosting or facilitating a conversation with Monte Ball, who you might remember from a running back for the Badgers and then went on to play for the Broncos. He was at the draft. But he has also had a mental health journey and a battle with alcoholism. And so he is coming back. We're doing a fundraiser for Journey Mental Health Center. And so we're going to be having a conversation about what he's doing now, how he got diagnosed, how he's been tackling it. There's still tickets available. So if you go to journeymhc.org, this is going to be in Madison next Wednesday from 6:30 to 8 at the Cooper's Tavern. So I'm very excited to kind of step away from politics for a night and have a really important conversation around reducing stigma around mental health.
And Joe stole the thunder a little bit, but for all the moms out there, you guys are warriors. You do so much heavy lifting. I had 3 brothers. We were horrible. So our lovely mom, Agnes, who's put up with that for, she's 89, so a long time. So all the moms, you get all the credit you deserve because you are always doing the heavy lifting. I know how guys are. I'm a guy. I had brothers. I know my friends. We are lazy sometimes. We don't do all the stuff that guys should be doing, even in relationships where it should be 50-50. So for the moms out there, this is your weekend, but you really, I think Joe or somebody else said, maybe Kristin, that you deserve a lot more than that. So at the minimum, go all the way. Take them out to dinner, buy them a card, buy them flowers, or whatever else they want. Some people don't like flowers, whether it's candy, whether it's a nice present or a clever gift, or even if you're a youngster, draw a nice picture for your mother or your grandmother. And I'll be thinking of my mom, Agnes. I'll be thinking of my lovely wife, Kathy, as we go out to dinner, because she did such a great job with my 2 daughters who are now moms themselves. And then I'll also be thinking of my late mother-in-law, Diane, who was a tremendous human being who passed away recently. We'll be thinking of her as well. So celebrate moms. Moms do the great
Huzzah.
work. Yeah. All right. We'll wrap it up. Joe's getting out of here. Thank you, Bill.
See you next week, guys.
Thanks, guys.
All right, and we'll figure out what you and I are talking about after this.
Forget average. At Exterior Pros, they bring the heat. They're not here to meet standards, they're here to smash them. From the first swing of the hammer to the final reveal, they're leveling up your home with every window, every shingle, and every single detail. This isn't just a remodel, it's a glow up for your house. Built tough, built beautiful, built to turn heads. Want in? Let's go. Lock in your project now and save $3,000. Exterior Pros, where bold meets built. Trust the pros and visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274.
Hey, it's WTMJ. Steve's good to hear. For Milwaukee Weight Loss, yes, I've lost a lot of weight over the last few months, but I did it with Milwaukee Weight Loss's help. I'm not saying I did it on my own because I didn't. It's the secret, by the way, to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day. Their doctors have developed easy to follow. I followed it. Weight loss program helps you lose weight fast, naturally, safely. No drugs or injections with no risk of serious side effects. None of the gimmicky stuff, the meals, the bars, the shakes. You don't even have to exercise if you don't want to. Their program helps reset your metabolism, and it's exactly right. It reset mine. So after you're on the reduction phase, you go on the maintenance phase. I've actually lost weight on the maintenance phase because I'm still doing the right thing. You get a great coach. Mine's Emily. They're all outstanding at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Schedule your free consultation. Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. It's crazy to watch your body lose that weight, but it's possible. Schedule your free consultation by calling 262-449-1180 or online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
Goodyear, Dunlop, Kelly, Continental, General, you name it, we got it.
Plus, free flat tire repair, free tire rotations, and more.
So when you're due for tire service, schedule it at richlawns.com.
That's Rich Lawns with 2 N's.
Rich Lawns.
Are you ready for some more fun, more friendships, and more adventures? Then it's time to become a Girl Scout. Obviously, that is directed towards younger women in your lives, but Girl Scouts of Wisconsin Southeast helps girls build courage, confidence, and character, all while making a difference in their communities. With their extended year membership, girls can join now and enjoy up to 5 extra months of fun. Visit www.gswise.org and join the adventure today.
Love it. Shout out about those Girl Scouts. Good show today so far.
Yeah,
and we still got 45 minutes left.
Yeah. Yesterday you pitched the idea of doing an AI segment every day, which I think might be a little too much, but I don't know.
At least once a week.
The amount, this week specifically, I feel like there has been a lot of AI talk, and I don't even know where to begin. So I'll kind of list out the different things I've read that have put me, I don't want to be a doom and gloomer, but certainly freaked me. Like you said, you're a Black Mirror fan.
Love this show.
I've only watched a handful of episodes, but it's, technology is here and it's coming. So I think I mentioned this yesterday. Derek Thompson wrote an article for The Atlantic talking about the fact that for the first time ever, the new recent grad unemployment rate is higher than the actual unemployment rate. And what people are assuming, the reason why this is a lot of the tasks that you go to college for and then you get employed to do is synthesize information, do write-ups, a lot of it is work that we're now realizing that where we are right now with AI can do. Simultaneously, there was another article that's making the rounds this week from New York Magazine that is talking about the fact that everyone is cheating their way through college. And that it's a long article, but as far as people who are, computer science majors who are just dumping their homework into ChatGPT and it's getting spit back out. People writing their papers in there, teachers trying to figure out ways to AI-proof assignments. But all of this, the fact that people who are paying to go to college are not necessarily learning stuff because of the fact that they're on ChatGPT and the ChatGPT can do almost everything for them. And then simultaneously, there was an email, sorry, I'm talking a lot right now, but from the Fiverr, which is an online marketplace for freelancers to do different types of work, who wrote a kind of harrowing email to his staff about how AI is coming for everybody's job. And what is now easy will be completely automated. What is now hard will become easy. And what is now impossible will become the new hard. And you better figure it out. And it's just kind of has me being like, what are we going to do with all these people who potentially will be replaced literally by AI?
It's an interesting question because I was thinking about this last night when we were talking about this the other day, or when you pitched it. And it's like, so is part of that story that some of those people who are going to college, getting degrees, maybe useful degrees or not, but I'm someone that respects...
computer science is a useful degree, we were told, right?
Well, to some degree, yes. But it changes so quickly now. But is this an opportunity? I always look for the advantage of the opportunity here. Is it for some of these people to go back to some traditional things that may be the last frontier for AI, some of the hands-on jobs? Maybe that's the answer. And maybe that'll solve that problem at the same time trying to figure it out the other one.
I literally texted my husband this week. I was like, do you think we're in AI-proof jobs? And I don't. I think personality-driven things like a radio show host for now is. He does events, so I feel like in-person events and having to coordinate that, yes. But I looked at this and it's just like the different things like the jobs that are going to be safe from AI. And it's a lot of healthcare stuff that you can't, like you still need tangible hands to be able to work with people. Yeah. And it's a lot of stuff that you have to still do in person. But what's fascinating to me is that the last 40 years, let's say, all the reason, like a lot of the jobs you went to college to get may not be available anymore.
Yeah, it's a crazy time. And once technology's rolling, I don't know if you're going to get in the way of it. Here's the interesting thing about the radio host piece. I know that there are radio hosts who use AI to look at topics, find topics, even how you address those topics on their programs, already using those tools. Because the AI will suggest, okay, here's an idea. It's politics in Africa. And then it'll look at that and it'll go, here's 5 interesting ways to present that to your audience. So that's already happening. I did a half hour on this once on my show, my old show. That's sort of already happening.
Yeah, but it's not an AI voice doing the show.
Although that technology is already there as well. Morning show, Vince and Eric did a story about the individual who was killed, and his voice, his testimony was used in the pretrial witness statements. I mean, that's sort of an amazing thing.
So there was that story, and then there was also the fact that AI brought back Agatha Christie.
Yes.
So there's the BBC has a program called Maestro, and it's similar to, if you know what Masterclass is, which is a program that celebrities basically teach you how to do different things. But it was a writing course, and they had an AI version of Agatha Christie. And I thought that when I read that article, I was thinking, I was like, oh, are we going to put mediums out of business because you can bring back the dead and talk to an AI version of your late mother-in-law?
Was it ABBA, the band that was like actually using AI technology to like represent their shows without them actually being at the show or something like that?
Well, there's been the holograms.
Yeah,
I think a couple different times they've had holograms at like Coachella and stuff like that.
It's nuts.
I think that people who are optimists will think that this is, similar to an industrial revolution where it's not necessarily bringing back old jobs, but it will. So no matter what, it's going to change how we work, and potentially it's going to change how do we go to college if we need to go to college. Like, it will change everything. My gut right now is, though, that there's going to be a lot of pain that comes with it in the transition.
The college experience, the college environment is going to change dramatically. How it's funded, what they teach, how they teach it, who goes to college, who doesn't. Those easy decisions from when I was in high school, like, well, let's go to college. That's not easy anymore. And I haven't even talked about all the other pieces, which is the financial piece, which is a train wreck of a mess, because what do we know about college? It's expensive, way more expensive than I funded my own college for the most part. That's really hard to do now without having significant student loans. And we know what's happened in that industry, in that sector. It's out of control, and it's bankrupting people. And it's preventing, by the way, our economy from moving forward like it has for so many decades. It's a barrier to progress. And I think colleges, boy, they're going to have to reinvent, redesign. And that's going to be an ugly transition period. And right now we're in the midst of that. And AI is great, and it's got some really awesome aspects to it. But there's a real fear from a lot of people that it's going to change. And we're going back to your original point. You can actually, if you read AI-generated script or text, it has sort of a distant feel. Do you read it the same way I do? It's just, you can almost tell it's AI. It just has a weird feel to it, or weird read to it. It just doesn't feel right.
Well, I think that's how some of the teachers, when they read it,
yeah.
they're like, "This isn't.
It doesn't.
Didn't write this."
You lose the personality that you were talking about before.
But let's take a quick break, because I do think if we talk about how this can adapt the learning environment, getting back to how do we emphasize learning versus achieving a grade. So let's talk about that on the other side of this on Point Taken on WTMJ.
Frondelmax vextolando.
Ben?
Nargolento zipidorium.
Ben!
Yes, Nicole?
Do I have to ask?
Why am I wearing a wizard's cape?
Yes.
Because of the Brooklyn Cabinet.
The Brooklyn Cabinet?
Have you heard of it?
Of course. It's the most configurable piece in Penny Mustard's history.
Configurabilis maximus.
But what's with the wizard getup?
The Brooklyn Cabinet looks like something you'd see in the hallowed halls of a faraway magical campus.
That curved top is pretty enchanting.
And with all the configurable options, you get to work your personal magic.
Cabinenta implortum.
Wait, what are you waving?
My magic wand, Arvid.
That's a beef stick.
Hey, even wizards get hungry.
Right.
Snackius summinoso.
Come see the bewitching Brooklyn Cabinet. American-made with locally sourced lumber and built to last for generations. Starting at $43.78 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
Dr. Aaron Holtebeck and his team at Holtebeck Eye Center make vision care a top priority. They are your premium provider for eye care and corrective eye surgeries. Dr. Holtebeck has been helping local patients with their eye care needs for over 20 years. Dr. Nausheen Abbas joined the Holtebeck Eye Center team last September, and her practice philosophy is to provide patient-centered medicine by giving all options. Located in Brookfield near the corner of Calhoun and Capitol. Learn more about their services at holtebeck.com.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
A great way to add value and curb appeal to your home is with a new LiftMaster or CHI maintenance-free garage door. Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. A study by Remodelers Magazine reports that the average return on investment is an amazing 82%. Garage doors rank first among all home improvement projects. To see Geis's huge selection of doors, visit their showroom in Brookfield, or you can also visit their online showroom at geisdoors.com. Geis has everything from alley doors to custom wood designer doors and everything in between. Remember, for all your garage door needs, you call Geis at 262-784-4250. That number again, 262-784-4250. It's Geis. Visit them online at geisdoors.com.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
From the post-game show to the morning show, there's no rest for baseball and Dominic Cotroneo.
I was like a kid on Christmas Eve. I couldn't sleep last night. I was just so excited to get ready to watch games that count.
Dominic Cotroneo is our Brewers 360 guest every Monday morning at 8:45 on Wisconsin's Morning News.
There are some roster decisions I do want to break down here, and then we'll get into the lineup.
Brewers 360 is sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited and Big Fish Contracting.
As we continue our conversation about where AI is going to take us People are saying the trades will always need more hands. Nursing for sure.
That's what I was talking about. The positives. There's always someone who takes opportunity from adversity. And I think that could happen here. Now, there's a lot to that. You don't just show up and you become a plumber. There's a lot of years of experience and training required, but it is an opportunity, and not everybody's cut out for traditional high school or even going to a university. I think that's sort of a re-examination of our educational system and the directions we point young people in. I think that's a byproduct of this conversation.
But I think a different byproduct of the conversation is, so if you frame using AI as writing your paper or doing your homework for you and like frame that as cheating, why does someone cheat, whether it's AI or even the old school ways of cheating, to get a better grade, right? And you get good grades so you can get into college or so you don't flunk out or whatever. Like this, this award, like reward framework that doesn't necessarily first test very well how well you're learning or have you be excited about getting smarter, right? Like when there is this kind of like transactional way that our education system has been set up, that especially when you're a type A perfectionist like me, you're like, oh, give me a goal, I'll achieve the goal. And the goal is to get an A, not to learn the subject. And I think it's how you end up with, the amount of things that I've learned and forgotten over the years because I learned it for the test or I learned it for the grade. And it's only, I think, later in life that now you kind of learn for fun and you want to get a new skill. But it's like, is this an opportunity? Because there's so much stuff that AI can be able to just spit out and do for you that we rethink how we incentivize and motivate people to learn, whether it's small children or in like a college setting.
Yeah, I mean, there's already some universities, some secondary schools that already have pass-fail. So you don't have grades.
There's schools in Wisconsin
Sure.
that are not doing grades.
So that's one way. I in some of the reporting that I was reading, maybe it's the thing you sent me, maybe it wasn't. Oral testing is another way to do it. But then not everybody's great at just the one-on-one. People get nervous, even more nervous, than actually writing it down on a piece of paper. So that doesn't necessarily fix that problem. How you assess one's ability to glean what the teacher has told them, there's no easy answer to that. I think you have to be creative in how you do that. You have to be maybe individual versus collective. So instead of we're all doing it this way, maybe there's different ways to assess one's grasping of what the teacher's telling them. I can remember this from my biology class at Oak Creek High School. I could memorize anything. And our teacher, I think it was Mr. Klink, real name, he gave us 250 possible questions and answers. We'll get to it after the break. We got local news. Here's the latest from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. An outage occurring at the Philadelphia Air Traffic Center, which oversees airspace from Philly to New Jersey's Newark Liberty International. Radar screens going black for more than a minute, the second outage in the past few weeks. ABC's Sam Sweeney has more.
This happened earlier this morning around 3:55, which was the best time it could have possibly happened. You never want this to happen, but when there are fewer planes in the air, of course, it is obviously better. But you can hear in the air traffic control audio, the controller, who is based in Philadelphia, but controlling the airspace around Newark, that they had another blackout again, another radar outage again.
The Transportation Department outlining new plans to overhaul the nation's ATC system. At the Vatican earlier, Pope Leo leading his first Mass at the Sistine Chapel, thanking cardinals for elevating him and vowing to carry on the mission of the church. And volatile storms once again bringing the threat of flooding to parts of the south and northeast today. This is ABC.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:31. I'm Connie Weber. We continue to follow that developing story in Ozaukee County, where a tactical situation is still ongoing on Fox Glen Road in the village of Fredonia. Calls for service started coming in just before midnight.
9601 is en route at the command post to staging.
Audio from Broadcastify. The staging area, St. John's Lutheran Church and Daycare, closed today as the situation unfolds. A man of the home refuses to cooperate. It's been called extremely dangerous and heavily armed. Fox Glen, Pheasant Lane, and Partridge Lane all closed till further notice. Trial date set for former Milwaukee City Attorney Tierman Spencer. His attorney tells the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel there's zero chance of a plea deal. He will stand trial in October, charged with misconduct in public office, accused of using his power as city attorney to prevent the Department of Neighborhood neighborhood services from performing inspections and assessments on a property where he stored cars. Update on the Pizza Hut closures. 2 restaurants officially been cleared. They're back open after getting their licenses and health inspections approved. Locations of South 76th Street and West Howard Avenue and North Farnwell Avenue and East North Avenue. The South 27th Street and West Loomis Road location has also received its license and is expected to reopen soon. Time for some news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is down 144 points at 41,223. The Nasdaq is down 31 at 17,896. The S&P 500 is down 9 points at 5,654. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We had a couple of wrecks that were causing some problems on exit ramps. It looks like both of those have been cleared. One of those was on I-41 northbound to I-94 east. Again, that exit ramp is now open. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Sunshine today, high 61 to 68. Isolated showers overnight and into tomorrow morning. Low tonight 49. Highs tomorrow 63 to 72 inland. Sunny and nice on Sunday. High 66 lakeside, 77 inland. Monday and Tuesday we're up to 80 possibly. Sunny and mild Monday. High 72 to 80 inland. Slight chance of showers on Tuesday. Highs 70 lakeside, 80 inland. Madison at 57, 59 in Green Bay and Waukesha, and 53 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:34.
I'm here to help. This is your WTMJ Fix-It Show host, David Nason, with expert advice for our listeners. If you're dealing with leaks, stains, or cracks in your basement, it's time to call my trusted friends at Accurate Basement Repair. And you know what? You'll get a free expert evaluation on me. You just tell them David Nason, the Fix-It guy, told me to call. Don't let basement issues mess up your home. Trust Accurate Basement Repair to get the job done right. And again, that's Accurate Basement Repair, 414-744-6900 or accuratebasementrepair.com.
We see you out there, building a life you love, knowing that when inspiration strikes, nothing should get in your way. At Blaine's, we're here to help with everything you need to make it happen at prices that make it possible. Like assorted 5-gallon Midwest can fuel cans, $16.99. Save up to $300 on select Cub Cadet lawn tractors. Plus, this Saturday from 9 to 2, don't miss special offers and test drive select zero turns and lawn tractors during our Ride and Drive event. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guests, Accurate Basement Repair and Capital Heating and Cooling. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Since 1955, the cars are fast at Road America, but 2 wheels can be just as much fun as 4. Get on your bike and ride to Road America for the fastest event on 2 wheels, the Moto America Superbike Weekend and Vintage Moto Fest, May 30th to June 1st. Superbikes on Track and Wisconsin's premier ride-in vintage cycle show on Saturday. It's everyone's favorite weekend full of 2-wheel excitement, May 30th to June 1st. Celebrating 70 years as America's National Park of Speed. Details and tickets at roadamerica.com.
All right, we have a ticket giveaway right now.
What?
Alice Cooper, Too Close for Comfort. The Shock Rocker is returning May 14th. This is next week already at the Miller High Life Theater. So Alice Cooper pioneered a grandly theatrical brand of hard rock that was designed to shock. Well, he is going to be here next week, May 14th at Miller High Life Theater. Tickets are also on sale now at papstheatergroup.com. So yeah, if you would like to see Alice Cooper next week, be caller number 5 right now, 855-616-1620, Citing Unlimited WTMJ talk and text line. Be nice to producer Jazz, 855-616-1620.
Great artist.
You've seen him?
I think I saw Alice Cooper like in the early 80s. My friend Dennis Stevenson was his last name. Dennis Stevenson, who's I think lives in Florida now, said, you got to listen to this guy. He's like amazing. School's out for summer, all that stuff. And Dennis's big groups were the Chicago, then called Chicago Transit
Wait, he was in
Authority.
Chicago?
No.
Oh, I was
his
going to say,
bands.
Alice Cooper
I'm
was in
telling you, my
Chicago.
friend Dennis's
Okay,
favorite bands:
okay.
Chicago, Kiss, and Alice Cooper. It's like that's a random mix.
That is a random mix.
Chicago's all about brass. Anyway, great theater, by the way. I saw a bunch of different performances at the Miller High Life Theater. So, what caller was it?
Number 5.
Number 5. Good luck to number 5. Let me finish my story. So
All right, finish your
I was
story.
great at memorizing. I'm not anymore, but I could. Our teacher, Mr. Klink, would hand us like, okay, these are 250 possible multiple choice questions. Here's all the choices. Here's the answer. He would bold those. 50 of those are going to be on the test. I would memorize all of the questions and all the answers, and then I'd whip through the test. That's why I got an A+ in basic biology.
How much of that do you still remember?
Not much. No. You got to compartmentalize this stuff because there's a lot of other things that fill that space. You know?
Yeah, it's
you
like
got to move it
it's
around.
like Inside Out when the memories, like some memories, there's only so much room. So there's certain memories that get shipped to the back.
One thing I know about aging and our physiology, I'm not making new brain
matter.
stuff. Yeah, no new gray matters.
For someone who got an A+ in biology, you'd think you'd know the name of that, the gray matter.
Yeah,
is that what you want?
Yeah,
the brain stuff.
Yeah, what's the brain stuff? What's the gray stuff? Some smart person out there tell us what that is. Anyway, so I think this is a fascinating topic. We are going to do something at least weekly on AI and technology. We have to because it's going to take over.
Can we start show prepping with AI?
Yeah, because that's a thing.
Do you feel like it's cheating?
No.
So I think this is the question of, like, if I throw my op-ed that I write,
which we're going to talk about,
if I have a weekly column that I do every week. It's this writer's, like, battling the writer's block of, like, what am I going to write about? What's firing me up? What is an interesting take that is unique to me? So, like, if I throw that in after I'm done writing to ChatGPT to improve the grammar, is that cheating?
Do you do that?
No,
Okay.
but that's something that it is used for.
Then it's a tool.
Right?
You created the idea and the words. It's a tool to refine them. I think that's different. But if you started with, here's an idea, give me 500 words, that's cheating.
Is that the line?
I think so.
Is it because it's like, how do you can't monitor? It's like turning off the internet, right? As far as what is the ethical lines, not only just for college students, but for the work in general, as far as how much we want people to be using their brains and not letting it atrophy versus, well, this is a faster way to do it, so we're just going to let people be efficient.
And not that this has anything to do with what we just talked about, but advanced biology, we dissected cats. Actual cats. Can you believe that? Actual cats. It was amazing.
Did you do that for comedic relief, or did you really just want to go back to talking about dissecting things in biology?
It's fascinating. Because do they still do that? Or is it all?
I don't know. We did fetal pigs. That's the only thing I ever dissected was the little tiny fetal pig.
And the first thing you do is a frog. I don't know if they still do.
I don't think I ever had to do a frog.
Yeah, which is sort of creepy because I've eaten frog. It's like,
You've also eaten pig.
I have, yeah. Not. I don't think I've ever had shark though, or cat, for that matter.
That you know of.
It is odd though because so many people love their cats. Yet if you went to high school in Oak Creek in the 70s, you're dissecting cats.
Where did these cats come from?
I don't know. It's a crazy story. And I'm sure that doesn't happen anymore. I can almost guarantee they're not dissecting cats. Or dogs. Put me in the dog category, by the way. So you got to have fun on the show.
To dissect or to have as a pet?
As a pet.
Okay.
Yeah, not a fan of cats. As any of my listeners over the last 8 years know, not a fan. Because cats are cold-blooded killers. And I'm not wrong on that.
They're not cold-blooded killers.
Cold-blooded killers. It's in their DNA. It's in their genetics. Look it up.
Mitochondria. Powerhouse.
All right, smarty. All right, smarty pants. All right, we're going to talk about your great piece that you wrote. It's Mother's Day weekend, and you wrote a terrific piece for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, which is her other life, by the way. If you don't know this, we're going to talk about what Kristin does when she's not on the show, which is creating some really interesting op-ed pieces. Is that the right way to put it? On a lot of great topics, including the Pope, which the last one should have been picked up by every publication in this country because it's brilliant. Anyway, we're talking about Mother's Day and her recent piece in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel as we wind it up to noon right here on 620 WTMJ. Point taken. Hey,
Hey, it's Jason Wilde for Excel Custom Decks. I'm the football guy, definitely not the outdoor home projects guy. So when it comes to things like deck building, Excel Custom Decks is the true go-to expert. Family owned and operated, Excel Custom Decks uses the finest materials and products and combines that with superior craftsmanship. If you want your outdoor area to shine this summer, contact Excel Custom Decks now. Whatever you dream up for that perfect deck, pergola, or outdoor kitchen, Rob and his family can build it. Excel Custom Decks, decking excellence by design. Visit excelcustomdecks.com today.
For those with a warm weather fashion passion, try St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, because that's where you'll find a vast array of men's, women's, girls, and boys' warm weather apparel at the friendliest prices. So many choices, and at such a value. You can fill the closet without draining your wallet. Shop warm weather fashions at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Burkhardt Sporting Goods has a great reputation for producing custom team apparel. We're total team outfitters and we can handle the biggest jobs. Our success in custom team apparel led us into group and corporate apparel. Plus, we have a full selection of promotional products for employee gifts, special events, you name it. And we've made it easy for our customers to firm up their orders. The group sale web stores that we build for our customers are a simple way of gathering all the information you need. They're easy to work, easy to understand, and with them you'll have access to nearly limitless options. We've seen that most times we're better priced than our competition on the same high-quality apparel choices that the other guys offer. Plus Nike and Under Armour choices that the other guys can't get. And we offer a huge brand selection from Yeti, North Face, and Carhartt too. This is Brian Burkhardt. For team, group, or corporate custom outfitting and promotional products, it's going to be really hard to beat our prices, selection, and ease of buying for any size budget and every size company. And that's why we always say,
you can't beat Burkhardt.
New Berlin and Fox Point.
Public service, courage, bravery, sacrifice. These are terms used to describe those who work in public safety who go above and beyond each and every day of their lives. You have a police officer, dispatcher, fire professional, or an emergency nurse who impacted your life? In May, we'll honor the best examples of paying it forward, sharing the tremendous stories of these local heroes. Nominate your local hero at WTMJ.com. Click on the Salute to Service banner at the top, or by texting SALUTE to the Siding Unlimited talk and text line.
It's Steve Scaffidi Salute to Service, presented by Waterstone Bank.
I can see the breath inside my house. This is how horror movies start.
First, the cold seeps in. Next thing you know, you're spooning your cat for warmth.
I tried it. He bit me.
Jason, come on, man. You need a new furnace. Don't you know that Capital is giving away the furnace when you get a new AC?
Giving as in free?
Yeah, but call Capital before this turns into the horror version of Frozen. Call Capital today and get a free furnace with a new AC.
Old-fashioned service, you can't go wrong. Call CapitalCares.com.
I'm Brett Matschke, and you're due for service.
Rich Lawns. Any mother and child reunion is only emotional.
Oh, yes, we're having fun on this Friday. Are you mic'd on? Yes, I couldn't hear you for some reason. Now, before we get to this, because I know you hate when I belabor the point, but somebody said on the text line from the 262, yes, we dissected cats in my human anatomy class in 2000. So, a little bit later than I did it in the 1970s, but so it's a thing still.
There you go.
Well, 25 years ago. All right. My colleague, my teammate, my friend and pal, Kristin Brey, wrote a great piece sort of honoring Mother's Day, but talked about it in a significance that I'm not going to be able to do. She did brilliantly, talking about all the things that are wrapped into the story of deciding to be a mother, deciding to have a bigger family. So I'm going to kind of let you walk people through this. I encourage you to read it. We can even probably set up something where I'll share it. I think I've already shared it on social media, but it's a brilliant piece, perfect for Mother's Day weekend. All yours. Take it away.
Well, so there's something about doing the show every day that you're like, we come in, we talk about stuff that's a give and take, it's live. There's another thing about writing where you kind of feel like you have to top yourself.
Yeah.
And so last year I wrote about, which was my first Mother's Day, the feeling that I think a lot of women have, which is an apology to your friends who had kids before you and a realization of how you didn't show up the way you probably should have because you just don't know until you know. And I wrap that into that being reflected in our policy when it comes to moms in this country, that there's a big gap between our lawmakers not knowing, unless there's some who are women and some who are moms, but for the most part, not reflecting what would actually support moms. And that got a really good reaction last year. And so I was like, what do I want to write about this year? And this year, obviously, in the last couple of weeks, I don't even know if we got to talk about it much on our show, that the New York Times had written about the different proposals that have been brainstormed in the White House recently around trying to motivate more families to have more kids. And I think the joke, at least in my world, was tell me a man wrote this without telling me a man wrote this.
Right.
Because it was ideas like a national medal of motherhood for women who had 5 or 6 or more kids. It was the Fulbright scholarship going to married couples who had kids. It was a $5,000 lump sum baby bonus. It was not childcare, paid leave, making healthcare more affordable, making housing more affordable, which, forgiving student loans, because some of the reasons why people are delaying having families is mortgages and student loans. And a lot of it comes back to the cost and of why people choose to either not have kids entirely or to be one and done. And I took this personally, I took a personal stance from this because we are very much on the fence as far as if we want another kid or not. And all of our reasons, and I kind of try to look at it at the lens of, is there any government policy, whether it's from the Trump administration or some of these other conversations as far as paid leave and childcare, is there anything that the government could actually do that would actually impact our decision? And I think for us, and I'm not saying this is for everyone, I think for us the answer is no, because some of this is my age, some of this is our parents' age because we got started later. Some of it is an openness. I don't know. So there's just a lot of different things. But my bigger point with the piece is exactly that. I don't know if the government's really going to convince people. And we've seen this because in countries that do have paid parental leave and countries that do have way more subsidies for childcare, their birth rate's not going up either. And so there may not be a governmental fix to get the birth rate up.
I think you just nailed it with that answer because it's not easy to fix this issue because people are having these questions pop into their brains and none of this is easy. Anybody who's had a mom or lived in a family knows that there's a lot of heavy lifting that has to be done every day by moms juggling schedules. I know your schedule's tough sometimes. You have a young child. Yours is less than 2 years old. My daughter, Kristin, has a 6'3" and a 6 months rather. So I can't even imagine, and does a full-time job in downtown Chicago. So there's a lot going on with that. I don't know there's an easy answer to this, but the dilemma that countries are facing, and they all are approaching it in different ways. You talked about the sort of the European example where you do a lot of things for families and mothers. That's not fixing this either. And obviously the extreme example the other way of China saying you have too many kids. Now they're actually reversing that policy.
Well, what they have, their issue is that you can only have one kid.
Right.
And then there was a lot of infanticide as far as killing little girls because they're the misogyny and everything is wanting men. And now there's way too many men as compared to women in that country. So their birth rate is actually really low too.
So the answer is complex, like a lot of things we deal with. But here's the thing. Someone has to figure this out because the future will not be promising and forward-looking.
Well, we do have AI coming at least, though.
Yeah, is that going to fix it? Is AI going to fix the baby problem?
Maybe we'll need less people because there will be AI.
All right, I love this text. We'll wrap it with this. Read your op-ed. Amen. I really love how men try to solve women's problems. It's disgusting and stupid. I agree with everything, Kristin, all caps, everything. One thing the Dems could focus on is how much the GOP robs women of their dignity and who we are. I'll object to the sort of the classification of all GOP as the enemy. I don't like that. I think that's lazy, but I hear what you're saying. Read the piece because it makes some great points about the significance of this issue as we sort of address this major question, sort of not just repopulating our country, but repopulating the world so we have a future that's bright for all those young babies that hopefully will be born pretty soon. So well done, as always. Your pieces are always interesting, and I love reading them. So keep it up. All right.
Thank you.
We'll wrap up our sort of pre-Mother's Day edition right here on Point Taken on 620 WTMJ.
Hi, this is Bruce Nemovitz, Senior Real Estate Specialist and founder of Bruce's Team. We understand that moving from your longtime home can feel overwhelming. Ready for a smaller space, warmer climate, want to live closer to the grandkids, or you're just sick of the upkeep? From downsizing to preparing your home for sale, our team has guided over 3,000 families through the transition. Bruce's Team helps you every step of the way. Let us take you from overwhelmed to I can do this. Visit brucesteam.com today.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Fox World Travel. Special announcement. We got a couple signups yesterday, so we're moving in the right direction to sell this thing out. 50 of you can go with me to Hawaii, my 50 estates, November of 2026. You got plenty of time, but don't wait. There's an early booking discount that's significant, so don't wait. And I thank the people that signed up yesterday. Every day, people are joining our trip. We're going to visit Pearl Harbor, Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, Kona Coffee Plantation, all 3 islands. We're going to have the luau, all the traditional stuff, visit the Maui Aquatic Center. It's an active itinerary, which is cool because I've done a bunch of these, and they're fun, and we meet great people, and we have such a great time. But we also have quiet days. You can go off with your travel partner, do whatever you want. You can book a different excursion than the group's planning, or maybe just hang out at the pool all day, drink your Mai Tais or your banana daiquiris. And I'm going to do a unique thing. I'm going to get my first tattoo celebrating my 50 states accomplishment. And you can actually join me on that experience as well. So we're either going to do it in hotel or at a tattoo place. But I'll have more details on that soon. Oh, by the way, I'm looking for a graphic designer or someone who is good at drawing tattoos to give me some ideas. So think about that. We want you to join us. And do not wait. This will sell out. And we're moving in that direction pretty quickly. 866-GO-FOX-GO. 866-GO-FOX-GO. Best of Hawaii with Steve Scaffidi. Don't miss out on the early booking discount. Call today.
Fleet Farm's Garden Center has discounts on hundreds of plants, flowers, vegetables, fertilizers, and more. Like Farm Fresh Selects 10-inch hanging baskets for $17.99. And large bags of Miracle-Gro all-purpose garden soil for just $7.99. Plus, get a 21-inch full-bore 3-in-1 push mower on sale for only $259.99. When it comes to the great outdoors, let Fleet Farm handle all your patio, lawn, and garden needs at the best prices guaranteed.
Hey, it's Mother's Day weekend. Your mom's not cooking? Don't even think about that. Treat her to a free dinner at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club. WTMJ's John Merck here with you. The Friday fish fry is all you care to eat and one of the best. All other dinners are buy one, get one free tonight through Saturday. Indulge in your favorite steak, seafood, pasta, a big fresh salad, maybe the steak and lobster, even prime rib on Saturday. All buy one, get one free. Desserts and ice cream drinks also buy one, get one free. Celebrate your mother with an old-fashioned, over 20 bourbons, 100 wines, 8 unique dining rooms. The Fox and Hounds, nestled in the heart of the Kettle Moraine Forest, beautiful spring drive, spectacular views, and your second dinner is always free. Just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of the Holy Hill Shrine, dinner is served from 4 p.m., so arrive early. Lunch on Saturday, 11 to 2. Call and reserve your free dinner, foxandhoundsrestaurant.com. Remember your mother. I love this place. It's the famous Fox and Hounds.
Ready for more fun, more friendships, and more adventures? Then it's time to become a Girl Scout. With their extended year membership, join for just $98. Adults for $42 and enjoy up to 5 extra months of fun starting now. Visit girlscouts.org and join the adventure today.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Beautiful song.
This is
not Freddie Mercury, though.
I was going to say, who's
Panic at the Disco.
A remake, a redo. What are you hoping happens this Mother's Day weekend for you?
Well, I will end on this. My mother, as probably a lot of us feel, but
the
my
fabulous
mother,
Debbie
Brey, is the mother of all mothers because she mothers everyone, and including she was supposed to come down this weekend. I think I've spoken fairly openly on many shows that I have an uncle who has Down syndrome. She is his legal guardian. They can no longer come to Milwaukee this week because they have to go to Madison for some medical stuff, and I think that is just symbolic of who she is as a person. And I've never met anyone who puts literally everyone before her. And I can only hope that I have absorbed some of what I am good at as a mom because I had her as an example. And I wish I would have been with her on Sunday. They're going to come down next weekend anyway. So anyone who's coming to WTMJ Day, might get a chance to meet the wonderful Debbie. But I feel like everything I know about being a good mom, I learned from her. And so happy Mother's Day, Mother.
And I'm going to dinner with my mom and dad, my mom Agnes, tonight in Cudahy, where they live, and looking forward to that. And for all the moms, I mean, I said it a bunch of times today. We appreciate you. You guys do so much great work. And the guys or whoever's sending these things, the guys that don't get any respect, well, earn it.
And I would say that. I would say, because in my piece, just to go back to the reason why I feel like I've been able to manage motherhood and it's not like brought me to my knees yet is because I married someone who truly shows up, and it's like a 50-50. We have very much a 50-50 relationship as far as everything that needs to get done to run a household. I have married someone who very much steps up and does that and does not kind of throw his hands up and it's like, well, you take care of it.
There's some good guys out there.
There is something to be said as far as, when you think about happy wife, happy life, do the dishes. Take out the garbage.
Or at least buy a new dishwasher.
We'll end out here. The funniest TikTok I've seen recently?
No.
It's a girlfriend asking her boyfriend, will you hang the mirror finally? And he's playing video games. He goes, I'll get to it. And then she goes, will you explain to me how to hang a mirror? And then he's all over it.
I gotcha. I hear you.
All right. Happy Mother's Day. We'll see you on Monday.
Each year, about 800,000 people in the United States suffer a stroke. But did